Well, hey, we're going to get started here. Welcome to session 4. All right, well, is that right? Session 4 of Gaetano's University. My name is Clay Staires with the Leadership Initiative, and we are in the series called Winning in the Workplace. We're starting with our very first level, winning as a worker. All right, winning as a worker. We've got to learn how to be a good worker. So many times we get out of school, we get out there into the workforce, and we just don't have wonderful models of what a star employee should look like. We're just doing the best we can, all right? Or we start looking at Susie next to us and go, well, I'm better than Susie, or I'm better than Johnny over here. But Susie and Johnny just may not be the best measuring stick for us to be a star employee. So we are going through several different topics here in working in the work or winning in the workplace at the worker level, learning how to be a star employee. Today, primary conversation is all about employee evaluations. And we were talking about this just a moment ago. And what we came up with is if you are observant, you can actually get the answers to the test before you have to go take it. How many of you guys, have you ever had that happen? You ever had that happen? I had a few people who got the answers to the test, all right? I remember in college, okay, went to the University of Oklahoma, Sooners, okay, love it. And I'm in sociology. It's my freshman year. I go and I take the first test, you know, the hunter and gatherers and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the info is just going over my head, and I think I made like a C- on my first test. However, between the first test and the second test, I heard of this wonderful thing called a test bank. You know, again, this is back in the day where we actually used things called paper, okay? Everything wasn't on a computer. But there was this thing called a test bank, and you could go to this test bank, you could go to the sociology class, and in that test bank, they had all of the tests from previous semesters that this teacher had given. Isn't that sweet? So I'm going, oh, this is cool. So I went and got the test, and I'm studying the test, and it's cool, and you know, okay, I feel like I'm pretty good, you know, I feel like I got this. And I go in to take the test, and I realize immediately, oh my Lord, it's the same exact test. Now, you know, what do you do then? It's like, sweet, you make an A+, all right, is what you do. So I'm just going through, and I nail the thing, I make 100% on it. And so what do you think I did for the next test? I did that. I've got a system together now. Go back to the test bank because I figured out how to find the answers to the test, okay? How to find the answers to the test before I actually had to take it. So, do you think that I was able to go in to take the test with more confidence? Yeah. Completely. But that gets to be an issue with so many people when it comes to employee evaluations is we start to freak out. It's almost like we're still in the school brain of, I have to go take a test. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh no, the test is coming up. The test is coming up. And all of a sudden, as soon as the teacher says, hey, there's a test coming up, all of a sudden my blood pressure goes up, my heart rate goes up, and I begin to tense. It was anybody, Gianna, you weren't like that, but the rest of us, were we like that? I was like, oh my gosh. And again, being a teacher for 15 years, I saw this happen all the time. You know, as long as the test was a long way off, everybody was all relaxed, everybody was just chillaxing, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as I would look out there in the class and go, there's going to be a test tomorrow, I mean, you could feel the tension come into the room. And what do you think are some of the very first questions that people would ask?
What's on the test?
What's on the test?
How many questions?
How many questions? What's the test about? All of a sudden, everybody's really interested in what we've been talking about for the last 10 days. You know, what's going to be on it? What's it going to be about? You know, and I would even get, wait, that's not fair. You didn't give us enough time, and all that kind of stuff. Because in school, and this is important for you to know, in school, we learn that tests and evaluations are events. Okay? Tests and evaluations are events. And we spend a lot of time in school, and that is how we learn about testing and evaluation. They are events. And so as soon as a teacher says and walks into the class and goes, today we have a pop quiz, what does everybody do? What does everybody say in a classroom when a teacher walks in and says, pop quiz time? What are some of the things that people say?
They're mad.
They get mad. Exactly.
We didn't know about it.
We didn't know about it. What else? This is good stuff.
Usually just hear a groan coming from everybody.
Attention, you're like, oh.
Yeah. You didn't tell us about it, and so right behind you didn't tell us about it is there's always a number of people in the group. That's not fair. You know? Because again, we have been trained that tests and evaluations are events. And since they are events, I will be notified about when they come. However, in the working world, it's very different. But if I'm over here and a test is an event, and I know the test is going to be 10 days away, then on day one, what is my attitude toward the content and the activity going on in class?
I have 9 more days.
I've got 9 more days. How about day 2? I have 8 more days, exactly. At what point, now be honest here, okay, because I already know the answer, all right? So be honest here. At what point, when you know that the test is in 10 days, at what point do you say, oh man, I better get ready for the test?
About 5 minutes before the test.
About 5 minutes before. At the very best, even for our most awesomeness student, Gianna, at the very best, it's the night before. And we cram for the test because we know we're just going to get into our head and then we're going to go in and we're going to perform on the test. Anybody ever done that before? Okay? Crammed, get it in, you go and take the test. And then like 2 days after the test, maybe even 2 hours after the test, if someone were to ask you what was on the test,
You don't know?
I have no idea. Because the way that I was perceiving, the way that I was thinking, remember we talked about tough bar. Thoughts lead to feelings, to beliefs, and actions and results. The way that we're thinking about learning is evaluations and testing is all about events. And so we can cram. But until the test, I don't have to worry. Until the test, I can stand over here and not have to work really hard. If I know that my employee evaluation is coming up today, then I want to be really good. I want to be, hey, can I help you? Hey, you look awesome today. Hey, I want to upsell. I want to do everything really good. But unfortunately, in the working world, you guys catch this, in the working world, you are getting evaluated and tested every single moment of every single day that you are at work. It is an ongoing, every single moment. And that is a huge for people moving out of school mode and into work mode. Next thing you know, they get an evaluation from one of their managers and they're going, well, you didn't tell me you were going to test me on that. You didn't say that was going to be a part of the evaluation. Wait, this isn't fair. I just don't think you like me. Anybody ever heard somebody say that before when they got a poor evaluation at work or had a manager come and say, confront them on something, and you walk away from going, well, they just don't like me. I can't believe they said that. Nobody else does it. I can't believe they expect me. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay? I mean, that is really key, and we're going to talk about that here in a moment. But you guys, if this thought can somehow come out of my brain and float across the room and even get into the camera and sink into your heads. I don't know what that looks like. Does it go in your eyes, does it go in your ears, however it works. If it could get into your body, into your being, to where you could understand that I am being evaluated all the time. I loved what you said a moment ago, Reuben, that I would work harder because I want to look good on camera. Well, you know you're on camera. I want to look good because I know that I'm on camera. Wouldn't it be interesting if you knew there wasn't a camera?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. If there wasn't a camera and the manager's not in the room, what's the big deal? Isn't that something? But now you know there's cameras. So now all of a sudden we understand why they put cameras back there. So they can observe the workforce. I tried this in one of my classes. Remember, I was a teacher. Okay, I was a teacher for 15 years, taught science, taught math for a little bit, but predominantly taught science. I tried this for a 9-week period. Catch this. Have you ever been in a class? I don't think it ever been done before in the history of education. I don't think this has ever been done. I was an innovator. I was out there on the edge, okay? And even got pulled into the principal's office because there were parents complaining, all right? But here's what I did. I gave a test every single day. There was a test every day over the material that we learned that day. We had block scheduling, so they were there for an hour and a half. So we would spend about 45 minutes in content, and we'd spend about 45 minutes doing lab work and stuff like that. And I would give a test the last 15 minutes of every day. Written test, everybody gets it, fill out the stuff. It's all on what we talked about today. How many of you guys would like that? See, nobody liked it. It's no fair, it's too many tests. Because, again, we get this thought in our head that tests and evaluations are negative things. I kind of like just having 3 or 4 of them in a class because then that negative event is only happening 3 or 4 times. But Clay, when you say that you did it every single day, ooh, yuck, I would hate that. But catch this. We didn't have the big test every 10 days. All we did was a small test over a small amount of material that I had just talked about in class. That's all we did every single day. So what do you think happened to the attention span? What do you think happened to the connection? What do you think happened to people asking questions during class? Think it got better or do you think it got worse? It got better. I tell you, if you're a teacher, change your life. But get ready, because people get mad at you, all right? But I actually got pulled into the principal's office. What's going on in here? You know? And I talked to him. I go, okay, it makes sense. And our grades improved 57%. I mean, it's huge. Grades improving. So that is the mentality as you step into the work world, as you step into the workplace. That's actually what's going on. You're coming in, you're to work your shift. You're coming in, you're to work your day. You're to work in your department. You're to get your to-do list done, and you're being evaluated all the time. And if you understand that you're getting evaluated all the time, you tend to have this mentality of, I need to get the stuff done. But if you're not being evaluated, then I'm going to go over here and get some coffee and sit and talk. How are you doing today? Hey, did you listen to that speech last night? Hey, how about that? Did you watch that football game? Oh, I couldn't believe the football game. Well, let me just put this down. Okay, so here we are talking about, and next thing you know, 15 minutes later, I'm still sitting there talking. Does that make sense? But when you know that you're being evaluated, and again, it's one thing if you can internally evaluate yourself, okay? But that's kind of tough. But just to know that you're being evaluated. I was just talking to somebody 3 days ago, and they said at their job, it's an IT company, he said at their job, every time they get up and leave their desk, they have to clock out. Every single time. Even if they get up and go to the bathroom, they have to clock out, go to the bathroom, and then come back, clock back in, and do their work. Now again, Jessica's over here going, that's stupid. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that, all right? The reason why they did it is because from video, they discovered that they had one employee that 3 hours a day, he was away from his desk doing nothing. 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week. It's almost a part-time job doing nothing. This would be a person that is actively disengaged. Is that fair enough? So, just want to, again, kind of set this mindset as we approach evaluations. Evaluations are a good thing. We have up here at the very top of the page. You have to inspect what you expect, or people won't respect what you're asking them to do. That's kind of my tag on the end there, all right? You've got to inspect what you expect. If I say, Reuben, this is what I want you to do, but I never come back and check, did you actually do it? Then number one, I don't know if you ever did it. And number two, Reuben's going, yeah, I kind of did it. Have you guys ever been in that spot before? Okay, I remember teaching my daughter how to mow the lawn, all right? She went out and mowed the lawn. I go, okay, did you mow the lawn? Yeah, I mowed the lawn. Okay, I'm going to go check it now. You sure you mowed the lawn? Yeah, I know, it did really good. So scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like the best lawn mowed ever. How do you feel like you did? Oh, I'm probably about an 8. Okay, good. Let's go take a look. Well, you can imagine, okay? It looked terrible. It's just like, well, you missed this spot and you missed this spot. Oh, and did you think about the side yard? Oh, well, you just pointed over here and everything. So we stepped into this whole training program on how to get the lawn mowed. And here's what it will look like when it's done. Notice this, notice this, notice this. This is what I'm looking for when I say mow the lawn. Next time she mows the lawn, Claire, did you mow the lawn? Yes, I did. Scale of 1 to 10, how do you think you did? Well, Dad, I think I did a whole lot better. You know, maybe a 7 though, but why don't you come and take a look at it? I love that. Come and evaluate me. She felt confident because she knew what was expected out of her. I went out, she had done a much, much better job. Much, much better job. Okay? Because she had the answers to the test before she even got started. We did the same thing with her bedroom. Anybody ever had a parent say, hey, go clean your room? You know? And you go clean the room, but really what you do is just kind of shove things into the closet and put things under stuff, and you come back out, yeah, clean my room. Anybody know what I'm talking about? And then parents go in, this is not a clean room, you know? Because unfortunately, there wasn't an expectation of what a clean room looks like. Okay, so you have to inspect what you expect. This is what I want to give you guys, a behind the scenes look of evaluations. I want to introduce you. I'm going to open up the back of my head and let you walk in and get a view out of my eyeballs on how a manager or a business leader is evaluating folks. Okay? So once again, you must inspect what you expect. Number 2, leaders know that what you measure will grow. You measure what you treasure. What you measure grows. If you don't measure it, if you don't take the time to evaluate it and measure it, then what you will get is, even if you get growth, what you'll get is wild growth. Okay? You'll get people doing their own thing, and I've been in that situation before. I've taken over a couple of companies where people were doing their own thing, and so it's like walking into a garden that's overgrown. You got weeds everywhere. It's great soil. It's got great potential, but it's got stuff everywhere. What does a good gardener do if they walk into a garden and they see all of this overgrowth and crazy stuff going on? What does the gardener do?
Take the time to prune all the bushes, pull the weeds, and make sure it's...
Very good. Takes the time to prune, to weed out, so that guy comes in, that girl comes in. You're fired. You're fired. We're moving you from this position to this position. And everyone's going, what? What are you talking about? I don't get it, you know? They let us get away with it. But this person comes in and knows what a healthy garden looks like. So what they are doing is bringing health to the garden. You have to measure things if you want them to grow correctly. So is this okay? You guys all right with this? Okay, because again, if we stay in a school mindset, it will keep evaluations in this place of fear. And I'm afraid of that because I don't know if I'm going to do really good. And the things we fear, we tend to resist. We tend not to think about. So we've got to get our brain in a place where we can actually embrace evaluations. And if we can do that, then you will immediately set yourself heads and tails. Heads and tails? Heads and shoulders. Let's go there. Heads and shoulders above everybody else. Okay? Heads and shoulders.